Good morning. Preparing for Adolescence, The Secret of Self-Esteem by Dr. James Dobson, author of Dare to Discipline. The Dark Canyon. Let's begin by playing a mental game for a moment. Imagine yourself driving alone down the highway in a small car. You've just come through a little town by the name of Puberty. But now, you're back on the main highway, and over on the right, you see a sign that says, Adolescence, 8 years straight ahead. You're creeping along the highway at about 55 miles an hour, heading for this great new city that you've heard so much about. But as you round a curve, you suddenly see a man waving a red flag and holding up a warning sign. He motions for you to stop as quickly as possible. So you jam on the brakes and skids to a halt just in front of the flagman. He comes over to the window of your car and says, "Friend, I have some very important information for you. A bridge has collapsed about 1 mile down the road and leaving a huge drop off into a dark canyon. If you're not careful, you'll drive your car off the edge of the road and tumble down that canyon. And of course, if you do that, you'll never get to Adolescence. So what are you going to do? You can back up because your car has no reverse gear. None of the cars that travel on this highway can go backward. That's like trying to back up on the freeway. It just can't be done." So you ask the flagman, "What am I going to do?" And he says, "Well, I have this suggestion for you. Go ahead and drive down the road, but go slowly and carefully and keep watching for this ruined bridge. When you get to it, turn to the right and go south for about a mile or two. Then you'll find a place where you can get around the canyon and back onto the main highway again. You don't have to fall down that hole. You can drive around it. So good luck and drive carefully." Now, let me explain the meaning of this story. The automobile you are driving represents your own life. It has your name on the door. In fact, it has all of your characteristics, and you're driving this sports car down the highway of life toward adulthood. And you see, I am the flagman standing beside the road. I'm waving the banner back and forth and holding up warning sign and motioning for you to stop. I want to warn you about a problem that lies down the road, a canyon that most teenagers fall into on the road of adulthood. This is not a problem that affects just few teenagers. Nearly everybody has to deal with it one way or another during adolescence years. After I mention you to stop, I lean in the window of your car and tell you that many other young people have wrecked their lives by plunging down in this dark gorge. But I can show you how to avoid it, how to go around that danger. By the agony of inferiority. But what is this problem which so many adolescents face at this time of life? What is it that causes so much hurt and pain to young people between 12 and 20 years of age? It's a feeling of hopelessness that we call inferiority. It's that awful awareness that nobody likes you, that you're not as good as other people, that you're a failure, a loser, a personal disaster, that you're ugly or not intelligent or do not have as much ability as someone else. It's that depressing feeling of worthlessness. What a shame that most teenagers decide they are without much human worth when they're between 13 and 15 years of age. It may have happened to some of you even earlier. But in most cases, the problem is at its worst during the junior high years. This is the canyon I was talking about, the dark hole in the roadway to adulthood that captures so many young people. Recently, I was interviewed by the editors of Teen Magazine for an article they were writing on the subject inferiority. The editors of this magazine knew that most teenagers face this problem. I tried to tell their readers that this is an unnecessary crisis. You can go around the difficulty and avoid it if you know what to expect. But if you simply drive your car down the highway full speed ahead, without thinking about the dangers and without being aware of them, you too can fall victim to the same feeling of worthlessness. It doesn't make sense that we should all have to suffer the agony of defeat. We all have human worth. Yet, so many young people conclude that they are somehow different, that they are truly inferior, that they lack the necessary ingredients for dignity and worth. Thank you.